What's up, everyone? Welcome to HiFi Turtle, where we talk about everything audio. Today I'm going to be talking about the Wilson Audio Alexia V. This is the latest creation from Wilson Audio. I was invited by my friends at Quintessence Audio, my local Wilson dealer, to come check out the Alexia V. Now, the Alexia V starts at $67,500 US and goes all the way up to $79,500 depending on the paint finish. There are actually 4 tiers of paint finishes for this particular speaker. There is a standard, upgraded, custom, and then premium pearl. The speaker that we're going to be seeing in this video is a premium pearl finish. This is the silver ice pearl, which I know what you're thinking. That's like a light blue or like a sky blue, baby blue, something like that. And I think that if you get a little closer to the speaker, or if you have it in a certain light, I think that silver moniker makes more sense. But it is a color that is going to change with how you view the speaker, what angle you're looking at the speaker at different times of day, if you have sunlight coming in, such like that. But it is a very cool color and definitely deserving of that premium title. Now, the purpose of this video is not to do a full in-depth review of the Alexia V. I only got to hear the Alexia V for about 2 hours of various different music. So what I'm going to talk about is just my experience with the Alexia V, what I think it adds to the Wilson lineup, and what makes it special, and the differences between the Alexia 2 and now the Alexia V. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about the Wilson Alexia V. The Alexia V is the second speaker in Wilson's lineup to feature V material. First featured on the Alex V, it has now made its way onto the Alexia V. And the Alexia V at its base price is about half the cost of the Alex V. Now, there are very stunning similarities between the Alex V and the Alexia V. And in my first impressions video of the Alex V, I did mention that after hearing the Alex V, it would really make you wonder, why would I want to buy an XVX? Now, the same thing can basically be said about the Alexia V. Why would I want to buy an Alex V when the Alexia V exists? Now, I do think there are some very clear-cut and defined differences between the Alex V sound and the Alexia V sound, but I don't know if it's exactly a clear winner when it comes to sound quality. I think that there are things the Alexia V does that certain people will like more. I think there are things that the Alex V that people will like more as well. But this is just classic Wilson product development. I definitely think that there are people that pride themselves on making an extremely good product, and as they evolve and learn more about how to make a more perfect speaker, they're just going to implement it and put it in their latest creation, whether that is the Alex V or the XVX or their entry-level 4-stander in the Sabrina X, which definitely had a lot of high-level components and high-tier engineering go into what would be considered an entry-level product, I guess, for Wilson, even though it is a 5-figure product still. Let's talk about the features of the Alexia V. Now, the Alexia V carries a lot of components from the bigger brother Alex V into its design. You have the same 1-inch CSC tweeter, Convergent Synergy Carbon tweeter, found in the Alex V, also on the Alexia V. You have the 7-inch Quadramag mid-range that was first found on the Wilson Wham, made its way to the Alex V, and is now making its way to the Alexia V. You also have Wilson Audio capacitors being used in the crossover network. For those who don't know, Wilson Audio acquired Reliable Capacitor and is using those facilities to make the capacitors in their crossovers for various different speakers, and the Alexia V is now the latest to have a crossover that features Wilson Audio capacitors. Of course, we also have to talk about the material that makes up the cabinet and the addition of V material, hence the name Alexia V. This is the second speaker in Wilson's lineup to now feature V material, although it is only used in a select number of places. This is very similar to the Alex V and where it was used. It's used below the plinths for the tweeter and the mid-range, and then also in the acoustic diodes or the feet of the speaker. Cabinet-wise, the dimensions are very similar to the Alexia 2, although Wilson has said that they have been able to take the mid-range enclosure and make it 6.4% larger, as well as the woofer enclosure, making it 8.9% larger. Having a larger cabinet means that you're going to get more extended range, especially when it comes to lower frequencies out of these drivers. There really isn't too much that Wilson puts out there as far as what's changed in the woofers. I believe that the 8 and 10-inch woofer that are featured are probably very similar, if not the same, as the Alexia 2, but the real star of the show definitely is the changes in the cabinet, the changes in the material, and the addition of Quadramag and the CSC tweeter. Another cool little thing that Wilson has added to the Alexia V is on the back of the speaker, they have put a bubble level. And this is incredibly useful for positioning and placing your speakers because ideally you do want your speaker to be level. In my own experience trying to level my Focal Super 2s, that is a daunting task because the head of the speaker is not flat. It's not supposed to be flat. And just using your standard just bar level, you have to level on the front, level on the side, level on the back, level on the other side. It's quite a process to get that just right. Whereas Wilson's put this level in the back, and it is like a pie-shaped level, so you can see all around, getting your speaker to be level on the surface you're putting it. And it's just such a small feature, but it's something that definitely enhances and makes it much easier to work with these speakers, and it's just cool. It's a cool feature. I think it was funny when Patrick was showing me at Quintessence that they had put that level there. I was one of the most excited he was about that feature, because having to be someone that installs these things all the time, it's got to be quite the task to get that level, and to have something like that built into the speaker makes it just awesome. Okay, so let's get to the sound impression. The Alexia V was being powered by a pair of Dan D'Agostino M400 MVX monoblocks, the Momentum HD preamplifier, and a DCS Vivaldi Apex stack, all of which I really have never heard before. And while I'm somewhat familiar with the DCS sound and some of their products from my review of the Bartok and hearing the original Vivaldi several times, I have not heard the Apex upgrade before. My main comparison to the Alexia V, of course, is going to be the Wilson Alex V, which I heard when it first came out in early 2021 on some Boulder amplifiers with the original DCS Vivaldi, and later then heard it with a DCS Vivaldi and Audio Research monoblocks. And while the Alexia V and the Alex V do share a lot of the same DNA, I will say I do think that they sound quite different. So while the Alex V does cost nearly twice the price of the Alexia V, I don't know if I could say there's an absolute clear winner between the two, having just listened for, like I said, a menial amount of time. While I thought the Alex V's presentation was a little bit more forward, a little bit bitier on the top, I think the Alexia V, by contrast, is a little bit more laid back, a little more neutral, a little less fatiguing, but at the same time, I do like a little bit more bite on the top and a little bit more forward presence. So this is an interesting speaker in the fact that it's a little bit more laid back. It gave me the same kind of tonality of the Sasha DAW, but then adding in the refinement of the Alex V. So it really is kind of cool that it slots itself between those two and draws very characteristic elements of the Sasha DAW in the tonality, but then the quality and refinement of the Alex V, and something that is truly an apex predator in the speaker world. What stunned me most about the Alexia V is the soundstage and depth. I definitely think that it was amphitheater-like. It really was a amphitheater-like experience, a concert-like experience to hear that speaker. And it's something that I say a lot when it comes to Wilson Audio, is that's the kind of sound that they're striving for, and it's definitely very accomplished on the Alexia V, if not the most accomplished version of that vision that I have heard thus far from the Wilson Audio family of products. There's something so tantalizing and so interesting about the details that are contained within all music that come out in the Alexia V that is just not something that I can say I've really heard on other speakers. So it is a very unique product in that sense, and there's something about it that just draws you into the music. And I think that that's just a wonderful thing that Wilson's able to do, is it just draws you into the details of the music and presents itself in a way where no matter what you're listening to, it's going to draw you in, make you more engaged with the music, get you to sit there and listen longer, which is ultimately the goal of this hobby, is to get you to listen to music and make you excited to listen to music. So you know me, I like the extreme stuff. I've been getting way into the new Lorna Shore album. I heard this band a few months ago for the first time ever, and it blew my mind. I had someone on Instagram tell me they wanted to see Lorna Shore played on Wilson audio speakers, and that happened. That happened while I was there. So you know, I have to say the Lorna Shore album, the only thing is the dynamic range I think is awful. It's so bad. I'm so sorry, Lorna Shore. I love your music, but the dynamic range is just crushed. Everything's maxed out. Everything's hitting 100. There's dynamic range non-existent at that point. It is maxed out. You're gonna look at the audio and it's just like this, the just solid bar across the board. But this is definitely the most pleasurable experience I have had listening to Lorna Shore on the Alexia V. So even though it is a extremely high caliber speaker, even with a poor recording, something I know is not exactly ideal to listen to, is definitely still engaging, still a joy to listen to, and still very interesting, tantalizing details that I hadn't picked up from listening before expressed on the Alexia V. So excellent, excellent, excellent to listen to. Real joy and pleasure to listen to, no matter what you're listening to. And of course, I heard some other recordings as well, and even some, more audiophile tracks like Tin Pan Alley. And again, just the expansive soundstage, the believability of the music, something that Wilson's just trademarked for, and it comes out extremely well on these speakers. I think the Alexia V is definitely a very standout speaker. It is definitely something that Wilson can be very proud to have created. I still prefer the Alex V, I will say, but again, I don't prefer the Alex V because of the quality of the sound. I prefer the Alex V because of its tonality, because of its voicing, because of its presentation of the music. I think that the Alexia V presents the music in a little bit different way, and I think that that could be more pleasing for other people. Now, again, I only listen to for a limited amount of time on unfamiliar electronics, so take anything I say with a grain of salt, but I will say the Alexia V is a world-class speaker. It is excellent sounding. Highly recommend you check it out. Even if you can't afford it, make sure you give yourself the experience to check out the Wilson Audio Alexia V. I want to say thank you again to Quintessence Audio for having me again and letting me check out this speaker. It was really cool, really enjoyed myself. Make sure you check out Quintessence Audio, links below in the description. Make sure you check out the other links to help support the channel. If you like this video, make sure you give it that thumbs up, subscribe, it really helps me out, and I'll see you in the next one.